Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us to follow Emerge Lanka Foundation and the work that we do. I have with us this evening a very famous person who's kindly agreed to come on board to not just support Emerge, to give his time to talk a little bit about the work that we do. No, someone who doesn't need much introduction, Russel Arnold, former Sri Lankan cricketer, and also a brand ambassador of the Emerge Lanka Foundation. Good evening, Russell.
Good evening, Jehan. Good evening.
I know you're very busy. Understand that you're doing some commentary work in the West Indies for the Under 19 World Cup. Very good to see Sri Lankans traveling the world, whether it's playing cricket, coaching, or in the com box. Just to talk a little bit, I mean, I know we've played a lot of cricket. I have played a lot of cricket with together with Russell, and I must tell you that there is never a boring minute with Russell, either on the field or off the field. But off the field, Russ, you've finished your cricket career. You've gone into commentary. What's that like?
Well, a great experience, Jehan. I think I'm fortunate to be in this situation. Initially, to play for Sri Lanka, to have had so much time out there, get that experience, and then being able to move on to commentary, which is actually a lifestyle. So cricket is what we know. That's all we know, basically. That's all we talk about, and that's all we live for. So to be able to watch cricket, talk about it, travel the world, as you said, meet people, and have a good time. It's a great honor. I'll have to say I'm very, very lucky to have a job like that, which is basically a lifestyle. It of course does come with its challenges, but the benefits I think outdo everything else. You mentioned I'm in the West Indies right now, about to cover the under 19s. Sri Lanka looking very good, Jehan. I think they
Yeah.
have a very good chance. And since you touched on the under 19s, I thought it's a great point. It's about the future. It's the future of cricket.
Yeah.
We're looking for future stars, and that's what Emerge is also about: safeguarding the future for everyone, of course, in a different field, a different angle. We'll get to it as we go on, but it's about creating opportunities, making the world a better place, and Emerge in its own way, doing wonderful things, and covering an area of real concern.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Russell. I'm just going to put you on the spot on a couple of questions, something that's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Is about cricket, and you talk about Sri Lankan cricket, youngsters coming up, the under 19 being a nice platform to showcase the talent. In your time of playing cricket, fitness, there's a lot of emphasis on fitness, and people are talking about it. Standards should be met. Where, in your, as a commentator and as a cricket expert professional, how do you see fitness fitting into professional cricket nowadays?
Well, fitness is very important, Jan, because that allows you to go on to do lots of things. Stand out there for longer periods. The stronger you are, the fitter you are, the more accustomed or more agile or athletic you are, allows you to give out better performances. There's no doubt about it. It helps you to come back the next day and perform again. Your rehabilitation or recovery, as you may say, it's all a big part. It's massive these days to be mentally strong. The list goes on and on. But when it
And
comes to sport or anything, at the end of the day, it comes down to performances. So it depends where you're at in that. If I can walk out there and perform and just be picking myself totally on my performances, I don't think fitness will ever be an argument, or it'll be a conversation. But I know where you're coming from, the angle you're coming from. In Sri Lanka, fitness is a big focus more than other countries. I'm not saying it's not a focus, but it's been talked about because certain standards are being looked at. And there is a reason for that. It's to uplift the standards. Sri Lanka have had a hard time in transitioning to the new,
yeah.
the future, the new era, as you may like it. So since we haven't been able to find those new heroes to take us forward, the focus has changed to this angle. Okay, if we have fit athletes, they'll go out there and they'll try to perform a lot better. So it's a tough one. It depends where you are at. I mean, our legends in the past have also found themselves in tricky situations, been dropped for fitnesses and all that. But if the runs are being turned, if the wickets are being picked up and we're winning matches, that's all that matters. So are you in a position to totally pick yourself and carry your argument, as you say, let the bat talk? Then fitness and let's say any little other thing that are brought into the selection meetings are thrown out the window. You as a player, as a coach, probably a bit of administration level as well. You sit around a table to pick a team. You want 11 players. Suddenly you find you write down 6-7 names just like that, because you know these guys are performing. You're not thinking twice about them. But if you're leaving your future in a selector's hand or someone else's hand, they will go through different lists, checkpoints. Then this becomes an issue. And unfortunately, I think you'll also have to agree, going back 6 months or before that, we were scratching the barrel really in terms of our performances. Our rankings showed that. So that's where the thinking of, okay, let's get our fitness levels high, let's get our discipline high, let's try and up the players and their performances. And I think coming to the World T20, which was played recently, we did see glimpses of life. So it's just that they're trying to tighten up the situation or the surroundings, which is understandable as well, but it's harsh on players too. I do understand both sides of it, but this is where we are at. Pick yourself, no problem, no arguments. You know how it is. Get your name written down without 2 words. Let's get 100 people to sit in a room, pick a team. Let all 100 write your name down without thinking about it. Get into that situation, then we won't be having any of these arguments or misunderstandings which we are finding around at the moment.
Yeah, very well said, Russ. And certainly you were one of the more fitter players around during your time. I don't think you ever had any issues with fitness. And as players, I'm sure everyone goes through patches where you have to let the bat do the talking. You've gone through that.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't have issues with my fitness, but I had issues with my performances.
Well, and coming to that,
also going back to those days, I remember losing my place to you.
Yeah. So for those who are listening, I mean, Russell and I were kind of the same, but off spinner who bats a bit. But Russell was the finisher. He was the guy who would see the innings through to close games out. The crunch player. We didn't have very many of them. Roshan Mahanama was there. Arjun Ranatunga. And that's a specialist position which Russell excelled in. Like, he would take the game deep, and occasionally I stepped in sometimes to do his job, but I was much younger than Russell. Let's bear that in mind.
Really? We look the same age?
No. That's all in good just us. So all's good, and we can always look back and have a laugh on that.
Oh, good old days. Yeah, no doubt about that, Jehan.
So just coming back to an interesting point you made about the different elements coming together, which brings out performance. And one of the reasons I am here, and I guess why we are having this conversation, is a cause that we are both equally passionate about. I am a director of the Image Sri Lanka Foundation. I happen to get involved through an organization called Roundtable, where we sponsored a reintegration center for the reintegration of survivors of childhood sexual abuse. I know it's a very serious subject, not very much talked about in Sri Lanka because there are a lot of taboos around it. And I was immediately drawn to the work that Emerge does. And I was looking at ways of expanding the work that we do, expanding the awareness, try to bring in more funding, because it's not just us, it's not just Colombo, it's all over Sri Lanka, it's all over the world. We all have children, and it's our children who walk on the streets, who go to schools, go for the extracurricular activities, who are constantly, even if they're at home, on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, they are constantly exposed to various forms of abuse and harassment. So how can we make it better? That's how I got involved in this. And I must thank you, Russ, when I asked you if you were interested in coming on board as a brand ambassador, without a hesitation, you said yes. What was it about Emerge that drew you to it?
Well, the work that's been done, and as you mentioned, it's an important area in our life, and our future is everything. So looking after our younger ones is very important. And on my travels, Jehan, I tend to meet a lot of people. You have that pleasure of meeting various types of people, and you come across issues as well. People struggling in life in different areas. Now, this subject that you just mentioned is a massive one, and I personally have come across a few who tend to struggle later on in adulthood as well. So it was something that was worrying me as well, and then it was about that time that you spoke to me about it. So hey, I'm in a great position to actually create that awareness and take the word around. Education is educating people on the subject. Abusers as well as the victims is crucial in helping people come out of it initially. That's what we are focused on right now, but the bigger picture is to try and avoid these situations, these type of problems in the future, and that can be achieved by trying to teach people and bring about the awareness of what goes on and what can be done to safeguard and also help people going out. So I thought it was a wonderful cause. I thought the work being done by Emerge was brilliant, and it was a great opportunity for me to be involved and also spread the word and try and make a difference, which is very, very important. And other angles of the importance is, yeah, creating awareness is one thing, but it's not a gender problem at all. It's a problem for all of us. It will affect every one of us in every way. Respect in any field, any environment is so important. That's what we, as parents, our teachers, or whoever you take it, that's what we try and teach. But unfortunately, the offenders seem to be also end up being trustworthy people, and to get out of it or to avoid it or to safeguard yourself and safeguard others, I think it's important that you know what can be done, what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and how you get about it. So that's another reason. Me being a male, also talking about it will give the victims also a lot more confidence that all men or all women, I mean, again, at the moment we are looking after um, girls primarily, but it's not a problem that's related to girls alone. So even we coming out and talking about it and creating the awareness and giving the confidence to victims, it will also give them the confidence that everyone's not the same, and there are people that who want to help you, who you can trust, and that way try and come out of a problem and lead fulfilling lives, Jan. So it's a bigger picture that we are all after, and also I hope a lot of others would come on board and help us take the message across, and also create a situation and resources in any different way to help people, victims in these situations.
So, Russell, you mentioned a very important point, in my opinion. You spoke about trust, and for there to be success as an individual or in teams or in communities or even as a country, and trust is key. And we are talking about girls who have been sexually abused, and more than 90% of the time, the offender is someone known, someone very close to the survivor.
Someone who you
Often,
rely on.
someone who you rely on, someone who you expect to look after you, someone who you turn to in trouble. And unfortunately, it's that same person who creates that trouble for you. And that breach of trust leads to so many other complications. And there are lots of other cultural issues that stem from it.
Yes, certainly, Jan, because trust is a very important factor. Now, as I mentioned before, cricket is our life. We talk cricket. And the beauty of it is that cricket is a lifestyle. Everything we learned in trying to play or playing the game, it's directly related to life. Teamwork, as you mentioned. If I don't trust my teammate in the role that he plays, we're not going to go and get those results.
Yeah.
It's a stop-start affair, right? A team that works together, each person playing his role perfectly at this stage, you're doing this at that stage, so and so does that. That's when everything works, and life is such. So those are the disciplines that life requires, and we are fortunate to have learned it in a place where we love and enjoy. But for the victims here, as you mentioned, you're relying on people to safeguard you, but when they let you down, it is a big problem. And then you look around, and in anything you want to do in life, you can't move on because there's no trust. There's a big barrier, and you tend to struggle to go on and fulfill your life, to have a good family life or a work life moving forward. It does push you down terribly when that trust is not there. So that's where you need to safeguard this. And also for those in such situations, victims, as we would like to call them, even them, to come out and seek help. Again, there needs to be trust. Who do I tell? Will they believe me? What will they do? Will they blame me? These type of questions they do tend to struggle with. So that's why it's important that everyone is aware and educated on the subject, so they can give out a helping hand, a shoulder to cry on, and actually listening to anyone with a problem builds that trust, Jehan, and helps you move those barriers.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we do or try to do at Emerge. Emerge is one of the few organizations that work very closely with the government. I know there are lots of opinions about how the government and the state handles social issues like this. But we must understand that in Sri Lanka, there are limited resources, and the places that the state works in government shelters, uh, they're doing the best that they can. And we work very closely with the probation department to
Yeah,
work with these
that's
girls.
just to interrupt you there, Jehan. Doing the best you can. Yes, we can always
Yeah,
sit and find fault with those trying to help and trying to make it a better place, but there are challenges, practical issues that you need to overcome, and
exactly.
hence doing your best in any way you can is what you can expect. Sorry about that, Jehan. I
Yeah.
had to interrupt you.
No, that's thank you for echoing that. And we try to bring those different elements together. As with cricket, you have your batting, bowling, fielding, or your technical, tactical, psychological lifestyle. You mentioned part of being a successful cricketer. Being a successful person, or just being a a happy citizen, has its own different elements. Your life skills, entrepreneurship, your personal development, your emotional state, your coping mechanisms, how you handle stress, language, IT skills, and just general education, things that often we take for granted. We have got this, and we expect everybody out there also to have it, and we take it for granted. And when a girl is abused, or even a boy, like you said, it's not a gender specific problem. When abuse occurs, a lot of these things are lost and taken away from them, and we try to piece it back together so that when a girl comes out of the system, that she is able to go back into society, build a life for herself, raise a family, be a productive member of society. And that's what Emerge aims to do. And
Everyone deserves it, Jehan. Don't forget, everyone deserves a clear run at an opportunity of peace of mind, of emotional control, or emotional peace. It's a very, very important factor which we tend to forget or easily forget because we take things for granted.
just a safe space to live, to learn, to grow. We try to provide that. And I think for too long that a lot of people, we have been silent on it. And I know historically, in our schools, in our societies, in our communities, even in our workplaces, these things happen. It's very easy to turn a blind eye to it and say it's not my problem because it has not affected me, but it has not affected me yet. We don't know when the next abuse will come, whether it will be you or one of your children. So I think we waited too long for that. It's time to get involved, spread the word, awareness, and do support all charity organizations have gone through a difficult time. Emerge has gone through a very difficult period over the last 2 years during the pandemic. It's so difficult to raise funds during lockdown. And we've been basically scraping the barrel, trying to keep our programs together because we have to give the girls something. They've been struggling even more than we have. If we think the pandemic has been hard for us, it's been 100 times harder for them, and we need to do more to try and support them. So if you can do, please join the fundraiser campaign that Emerge has launched. It's on tribefunds.lk. Follow us on our social media. All the information is out there about the fundraiser, more about what we do. Russel is very present on social media. Follow him. He has lots to say, speak on the subject. Russel, anything that you want to add to that?
Yes, it's important that we continue the fight. It's important that we expand what we can do, and we can't do it alone. We need a lot more help. It doesn't have to be just the females voicing their opinion or coming forward. Even males coming to support it, as I mentioned, will build trust, will help those victims in a way that we will not even imagine. And it's wonderful to actually put a smile or give hope to someone you don't know, knowingly or unknowingly. You will be making a difference. So fundraising is very crucial in trying to help these victims come out of their situations and try and build a healthier life. It only makes the world better, and I think that's important, and that will reflect on everything around us. It will expand, it will extend even to ours. You mentioned a great point. It's not affected me, or it's not affected anyone we know at this stage. Well, that's not good enough. You never know at what stage things can come back. So it's a case of trying to do more and more, and without your help, it will be very, very difficult. So at the same time, I'd like to thank everyone who's come forward and help us at least scrape that barrel and keep things going. But a lot more to be done. It is a massive issue. It's not only an issue confined to Sri Lanka. I must say that as well. Our focus at this stage is in Sri Lanka, but it's a worldwide issue, and it's a growing issue as well. And hence, helping these people come out of it gives confidence to others to come forward and seek help, which is important. And also that will enable us to take the word forward, create awareness, and create a better world. That's what it's all about. And also, don't forget, even volunteers will also make a difference and help us along our journey.
Yeah, the Emerge Lanka Foundation, we've had over 14 years of experience working with survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and we have worked with over 1,100 survivors, but the numbers are much more. There are about 10,000 cases still pending in court, so we are just working with very small numbers. Let's do more. Let's get those donations in. Let's help us work with more girls. We've got the resources to do it. We just need your support to help us do it. Thank you for joining us, Russel. With your busy schedule, and for all of those who've been watching, thank you very much for taking the time to watch us, to follow Emerge, to support us, and support a worthy cause. Before we leave, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time, Russel. As a player, this is not Emerge related. As a player, and we've all had this. You mentioned that you went through some bad patches. We've all have had more of them than you have. And when you go through bad patches, you get the people in the commentary box where you are seated right now, who will have an opinion on your cricket, why you are not scoring runs, and whether you should be in the team or not. How do you see commentators now from when you were a player and now in the com box?
We're very different. Yeah, it's like anything else. When you are in a specific position, in a specific role, how you see things is from your eyes only. But there are other people who have roles to play in cricket, in life, or any field of work, and they have a way of looking at it too. So if I knew what I knew now when I was playing, I would have done a lot better. That's what maturity, that's what experience, and that's what life does to you. But when we were playing, we sometimes only like to hear good things said about us.
Yeah.
But that's not how the world works. Everyone has a role to play. The coach has his angle, the selectors have their angle to run things or pick teams. Now, from a commentator's point of view, my job is to call it as it is. My target market in commentary is to create interest, to create more viewers, expand the game, make the game grow, keep it entertaining, and keep it rolling. So if there is something not good, or rather something not happening proper, I would give my opinion. And my target market when I'm commentating is, Jan, I'm not commentating to you. I'm not interested in what you think or how you are listening to me, because you know the game. So simple theories I've learned as I moved on and try and stick to it. I'm having a good time, even with my English. It's not perfect, so I don't worry about the grammar or whatever. As long as
Your English is very good.
as long as I'm understood. So I do a lot of work. I do speak Sinhalese and Tamil as well. So that's another advantage in trying to take the message across Sri Lanka and also helping people. It's the same in those languages as well. Hang on, do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's all that matters. So life is as simple as that, but we all have different points of view, and they are different. So different to when I was playing, that's for sure.
Anyway, thanks for that, Russell. That was wonderful catching up. Thank you for your time. And thanks for everyone who was watching us. Do continue to follow Emerge. Tribefunds.lk. That's where you need to go and follow us on social media. Russell, all the best with the Under 19 World Cup. Looking forward to your commentary and also give us some insights on the Sri Lankan Under 19 team. Hopefully, they'll win us a World Cup, which we have not won ever, an Under 19 World Cup.
Yes, looking forward to that, because we've always had talent, and under 19s have been strong, but we have always fallen at that last hurdle. So this year there seems to be a buzz, and hopefully we'll be talking of a few names the next time we talk. Yeah.
All right. Take it easy, boys. That's a good night. I think we've spoken enough on the subject. It's time to take action and help us fund for Emerge on tribefunds.lk and follow us on our socials. Learn more about the cause, more about Emerge, and more about how you can be a part of making a difference and make Sri Lanka and our communities a better place.